Welcome back, Shalligators. I'm back from Italy, my grand month-long tour with 2 different groups of Shalligators on trips. We had so much fun, and I'm sorry I left you guys without any videos. It's just too much bandwidth, honestly, for me to be able to film and host the trips and everything. But if you guys are interested in Italy, go ahead and head to my Instagram, ShallonXO, where I'm posting photos from the trip. And with each photo, I'm giving you a long historical caption because I know way too much about ancient Rome, Renaissance Italy, popes, evil popes, weird, twisted little things like that. So if you like history and you like pretty little influencer photos and fun things, I think you're gonna like that. But today, we're gonna talk about a modern horror. Pete Davidson. Dude, what the fuck? I mean, right? Evidently, and I say evidently, I'm using heavy air quotes, in this alleged relationship with Emily Ratajkowski, who is fresh off her divorce from slack-jawed, drooling cheater, Sebastian Blair McFart, or whatever his fucking name is. Those 2 are together. But are they? I don't know. I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about everything from, is it a red flag that a guy only wants to date the it girls? Or is that actually a good thing? Like, do you want to date a guy who has a history of dating like beautiful, successful, smart women? I don't know. We're gonna talk about that and what to do and how to feel when your ex upgrades. Because listen, maybe you consider Emily a downgrade from Kim Kardashian. I have a very similar mindset in a lot of ways to Kim. Like, we're sort of at the same end of being millennial generation. And I will tell you why that I think is impacting how she might be viewing this breakup. So we're gonna break all of that down. But before we get started, you guys, I totally forgot to mention that we restocked our necklaces. My collection with jewelry brand Vault NYC, which is a woman run. It's literally one chickadee who's in med school. She's becoming a fucking cardiologist. She also has a jewelry brand. Lower the bar, please. I don't need this, Diana. We have a new collection. Our Revenge necklace is back. Ruthless is back, plus 2 new designs, Warm Blooded and Alpha. They're nice and pretty and little and dainty, and they make a great gift for you or your warm-blooded, evil little friend. I know, it's great. And we restocked these. They had sold out in 24 hours, but they are back just in time for the holidays. And you know what? The holidays are coming. And I want to think of something fun to do for you guys. In the past few years, I've done Vlogmas, which is a video every day in the month of December. I don't think I have it in me. I'm really sorry. I mean, even thinking about it, my blood pressure is going up. So I was thinking maybe like 12 days of cringemas. Like the 12 problems that could befall us during the holidays, you know, from family to running into your ex to gifts. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of thinking about it. So think about that. But listen, one thing that befalls us during the holiday is missing our exes. You know, I think all of us start thinking about the past and thinking about past relationships and wishing someone were here. Have you ever heard Taylor Swift's song, Christmas Is When You Were Mine? Listen, give it a listen. It is the most beautiful, haunting. Oh, it's everything. But if you're thinking about your ex and you maybe want a do-over, you want to start fresh, you want to see if there's anything there, or maybe it's not quite that pure. Maybe you just want to win over this fuckboy or over this shit-ass breakup, and you want the power back. You want to kind of rewrite the script. I got you. Go ahead and click the link in the bio to download my course, Get Him Back, your 5-step manipulation master plan. And like I said, this is going to help you change the dynamic with an ex, and maybe you really just genuinely want a do-over. You're both in a better or different place. Or maybe you just want to get out in front of some dynamics where you feel like you're the one being manipulated. It's a great primer on seduction, even things like sales and business. This is going to tell you how to wheedle other people. You can use it for good, or you can use it for evil. I'll let that be up to you. Okay, let's talk Pete and, what's her name, Emily? So I say allegedly with this thing because I think the only thing that this relationship is founded upon is literally one email submission to, I want to say it's Dumois. I first saw it on IG Famous by Dana. Hi, girl. Like, she posted it. It was literally someone emailing, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm in New York and I saw Pete and Emily in Brooklyn, like hands all over each other. They looked really happy. Oh my fucking God. Like, that's it. There wasn't like they were at this restaurant at this time and their friends saw it and here's a picture. It's all just very like, I saw them. I'm telling the truth. Chisel it into a stone tablet. And then Us Weekly is coming out with their quotes. Do you know who owns Us Weekly? the same company that owns Star. And not to spill some business, but the source quotes have been a little fast and loose in the recent years. So I don't know, take this for what it's worth. Like, I actually don't know if I believe this yet until I see some receipts. Like, I mean, like their dinner receipts. I want to see what everyone's eating for dinner. You know, don't you just, this is always what I want to know about celebrities. I don't want to know, like, all I want to know is what size clothes do you wear, right? What do you weigh? And what did you eat in a day? It's like, I only eat like quinoa. Is that true? Or are you eating mostly cocaine? I don't know. Just tell me. I'm so curious. But I think knowing Pete's track record with hot chicks, I mean, Ariana, Kate Beckinsale, who to me is like the grand high priestess of all things, Kim Kardashian. I'm sure there were some other ones in there that I'm like just plain forgetting. I'm sure he banged out Kaylee Cuoco. She seems like she, and now Emily Ratajkowski, allegedly. I think it's plausible, it's possible that he would go after her. And I think given how he's been able to seduce other high profile women, I think it's plausible she'd take the bait. Like, she has not a great dating track record. So before she married that underbite goblin creature, Bear McClard, who she didn't even have a prenup with. Did you know that? No, nobody knows that. Her parents don't even know that. Sorry, we have some people in common, so I know some things. She dated this guy, I think his name was like Kevin or something, or like Kevin adjacent. And he was just like a normie dude, but like I don't know, he was like kind of broke. She doesn't have great taste. And she falls into a trap that I think a lot of very successful women fall into. Who's on my level? You know, who can I date that's like worthy of me? And I think women like her, women like us, we get taken in by mediocrity. We get taken in by guys who treat us like we're normal. You know, there's a saying, treat a beautiful woman like she's average and treat an average woman like she's beautiful, right? Treat a slut like she's a queen, treat a queen like she's a slut. Because it's very enticing to get that opposite reaction. And women like that, when they're treated that way, end up chasing the guy. And what I've always heard about Pete is that his charm is that he's so down to earth. He's so genuine, right? I heard that even before he started dating Kim. We've talked about it. And then when she was talking about it on the show, she would always say that he's so genuine. And we're like, okay, but think about, because everything is context, think about how rare that must be to women in their position and in their social circle, where everyone is about clout and the blue check marks and the likes and the power and da-da-da-da-da. And he's just like, I don't even have Instagram. I thought I had one. Turns out it was a scratcher. Like, he's just like a fucking guy. And to these women who never really experience that and who never really know if they can trust someone and they're being used for this and that genuineness, that normie quality, that bourgeoisie, not bougie, bourgeoisie, which is just the proletariat, that is like, it's so incredibly refreshing. It's so incredibly refreshing. It's magnetic because they're getting treated. They're not getting used. They're not getting like overly adored. They're being treated like a normal person. And what is seduction? Giving someone something that they don't have. So what do you give the women who have everything? You treat them like they ain't shit. Not like they ain't shit, but you treat them average. You don't buy them Cartier. You buy them those little nib thing, ice cream things from the gas station, like Kim was saying in the show. Oh my God, I love these things. That has the effect of making somebody feel very seen, right? Like, yeah, everyone likes Cartier. You don't have to know me very well to know I like Cartier and fancy, like who the fuck doesn't like that, right? But if you know that I like these weird treats from the gas station, that means you're listening. And again, for women who are on that kind of a pedestal and being idolized, not for who they are, but for their persona, for someone to hone in on these average details about them and play those up and play into that, wow. Wow. Now it's tempting to think, okay, he buys girls ice cream from the gas station and suddenly he's on a $70 million jet. Is it really that easy? Let's funnel this down because we like to think of celebrities as existing in this sphere of behavior that is so completely unrelatable, right? And what I aim to do on this channel is to bring that down. Like, they're literally just people. They're people more people know about, but they're just people. Like, they're really not that remarkable. Some of them are. But at the core, you slough off that outer layer and it's like, oh, you're just a person. You're actually worse than the average person. You're neurotic, you're narcissistic, you're broken and bizarre. So is this a dynamic that we experience in our own life? Probably so. Probably so. Think back on the things that a guy has done for you that has meant so much. Was it the big fancy dinners? Or was it something smaller? He remembered your dog's birthday, right? He picked up those little friendship bracelets that your little sister likes. Suddenly, you become very vulnerable to someone like Pete Davidson. Like I've said, he's hunting us one by one. So are they dating? I don't know. Although one of his friends, did you hear this? Like some dude on Saturday Night Live, I forget who it was like, oh, I can confirm big dick energy. His dick is 9 inches. That's a great flex at brunch. My boyfriend's dick is 9 inches. I dated a guy whose dick was 9 inches. Whose vagina is 9 inches? I mean, we have to ask this question. Get a sex toy, put it in there, make a line on it, measure it. Like maybe you're only 5.5 inches. Like I don't need something obliterating my cervix every time we have sex. Like that's a lot of inches. That's many, many, many inches. Anyway, I just kind of had to put that out there. So what must Kim think about all this? First of all, can we point out the fact that Pete is nowhere to be found in this new season of the Kardashians? And like the fans are noticing, and like I remember them teasing this, like, oh yeah, Pete's gonna be in it because hello, he's dating Kim. That's like a huge part of her life. Why would he not be in it? She was talking about it, I think it was the end of last season or maybe the beginning of this one. No, it was the end of last season. Like he's just so genuine and thoughtful. And now in this one, nowhere. Even though he's at these events, he's in this scene, like her actual real life, and he's not anywhere. Girls, if you're gonna do a reality show, what is the root word there? Reality. And I get that this is the risk of like you put your life out there and then you break up and it's embarrassing. Again, we as non-mega celebrities experience this all the time. You post a picture on Instagram and somehow 2 weeks later you've broken up and you're like, I feel like a fucking clown. And what do? Do you wipe him from your page? Like, do you pretend it never happened? Or are you like, no, I mean, it happened, but we broke up. Do you put that on your stories? Like, hey, like Chase and I actually broke up. So just PSA. It's awkward. But I think it's worse when you pretend it never happened just because you break up. Like, I think it's so weird when people delete all their pictures of an ex from their page. Unless he did something like really bad. You know what I mean? If he cheated on you, he was a horrible person. Yeah, fuck him. But if it's just one of those things, you break up and like that's life and that's relationships, I think that's weird. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I think we've talked about this before and you guys bring up good points for both sides. So it's whatever you want. But I think Kim is not just deleting things off Instagram. She's deleting him from a show where the fans expected to see this. I mean, she said they were going to see it. And I think it's very I think to me, that's indicative, and I never thought I'd say this, that maybe he really did break up with her, And I never believed that report when it came out. Like, oh, he dumped her. Okay, he's got borderline personality disorder. That's not, sorry, but characteristically, they aren't the ones doing the dumping. It's an attachment disorder and they want to hold on to everybody. So I don't think he dumped her. But the fact that she won't even bring him up now in the show, maybe that's an embarrassment thing. I don't know. So why do I say that I think Kim believes Emily to be an upgrade? Like I said, Kim and I are part of the same sort of cluster of millennials. We're not millennial prime like the young ones. We're millennial beta. We're elder millennials. And when we were growing up, Kim's a little older, thin was in. Body positivity, what? That's okay. That was not a thing. And I've talked a lot about my weight loss. I've lost almost 50 pounds now. And I told you, I have a whole video on it and how I did it with Ozempic and all this stuff. And it's I was taught, and I'm a product of my generation, that thin is it. Very thin, big tits, that's the ideal body type. That's it. Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, like they all kind of fell more or less into that category. It wasn't big butts even. It was thin with tits. Marissa Miller, Bar Raffaele, like all of these Victoria's Secret girls fell into that mold. Body positivity, who the fuck is that? Like that was not a thing. And you can try to make it a thing, but for people in my sector of that generation, it's not. We can pretend it is. It's not. It's not for us. Like, no. I don't feel positive about my body unless it conforms to that mold. And Kim, you know, I think she's obsessed with being thin. She's obsessed with being small, like, right? And so I think she's looking at Emily like, fuck, like that is the last person I want to see him with, you know? Even though she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. It's got to suck. How do you deal with a guy upgrading? And some of you might think, well, it's better that he like upgrades and like, ew, like if him dating some goblin. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a nightmare when they upgrade. It's a nightmare. You absolutely want him to date a crystal. You absolutely do, okay? It is hell on earth when he upgrades. I do not recommend it. But let's talk about the fact that he does kind of constantly upgrade. I mean, Giselle is single. Ugh. Is this a red flag that a guy is always looking to date the it girl? I don't know. This is interesting. This is interesting. I mean, on one hand, because I asked you guys on Instagram, like I said, what's the topic? And several of you suggested that. Like, why the fuck does he always need to date like the coolest girl in town, right? Side note, can we talk about how kind of insufferable Emily Ratajkowski's gotten? I was always like, I loved her. And I know people who know her and they're like, she's great in real life. She's really smart. She's really nice. But I feel like in public, she's gotten in this like third wave feminism phase. Like when she went on this tirade about that Marilyn Monroe movie, Blonde, tirade, and she hadn't even seen it. That to me says it all about woke culture. You're ranting about something you have never experienced. You are just ranting to rant, just to hear yourself scream. It's like women's pain is always fetishized. Like, but yet if we ignore a woman's pain, then that's even worse. So it's like, do we talk about it or do we not? Like, she's one of those where like, no matter what you do, it's the wrong thing. And like, fucking miss me with this, Emily. Also, her ad for her podcast, I listen to a lot of podcasts and she's advertising. She's like, I finally have a podcast. Excuse me. The use of the word finally is a bit upsetting to me. Finally. Girl. I have personally not been holding my breath. There's not been a long national nightmare waiting for Emily Ratajkowski, the topless chick in Blurred Lines, to have a podcast sharing her thoughts on feminism. I mean, that's just me. Again, that's just me. But good for you, you know, and here I am ranting. I haven't listened to it. I tried, and I don't think she's a great speaker. I don't think she's a great public speaker. She's a decent writer, but she's not really engaging. She's got a lot of vocal fry. I don't know. I just don't think podcasts are really her niche, but fly high, queen. So is it a red flag if a guy wants to date the it girls? Well, okay, look, we can say, yeah, that's like gross. Like, why not give like the normal girls a chance? All right, hold on. Let's flip this because we're all about equality here. Is it a bad thing if you only date hot, smart, rich, accomplished men? Would you think it's fair that someone's like, hold on, Caitlin, why don't you try dating the guy who works at the gas station? Like, wow, you just won't give Cooley a chance? No, I won't give Cooley a chance. He's too busy hanging out with Pete Davidson. Is that like a taco roll that you've got rotating on the thing next to the hot dogs? I'll get a couple of those. Hey, Milky, get some Slim Jims. I got a date tonight. No, I'm not giving those people a chance. Forgive me. I'm a high value woman. I want a high value man. And I want a high value man who wants high value women. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it's only a bad thing if you don't consider yourself a high value woman. You're showing your ass, right? If you think it's a problem that a man will only date A-list women or very accomplished women, and listen, I don't mean A-list just in terms of Hollywood. I mean maybe like in your college, like he's only dating the girls who are like playing 2 sports and president of sorority and they're hot and beautiful and whatever. If that's a problem for you, exactly, that's a problem for you because you fundamentally do not see yourself as part of that echelon. I don't mind it when I see guys dating girls like that because I know I'm a girl like that. In fact, it gives me comfort. I'm like, oh, awesome, great. I don't have to worry about the crystals of the world. He's focusing on women like me. He's focusing on other alpha females, warm-blooded, bad bitches. Fantastic. Whew. So I see this as a good thing. And if you don't, maybe check yourself and pause and be like, why is this like triggering for me? Why do I think that I'm not part of this group of people? What can I do to better myself? It's not a physical thing. What can I do to feel more like I belong with those types of people? What are they doing that I'm not? Get curious, not furious. Because listen, I've done videos before on how to deal with jealousy, and I was literally using Emily Ratajkowski as an example because when I was an editor in New York, I would be at parties, not with like the cool girl from Alpha Phi, but with Kate Hudson and Emily and Bella Hadid and like real, actual bad bitches. And I'm like, this career is untenable if I'm gonna go to everything and be so consumed with low self-esteem and comparison and bitterness. Like, this fucking sucks. And these are the coolest events in the world. I'm at the Balenciaga after party, like, and here I am just like, yeah, like this horrible crystal type harpy hating on every chick I see. Enough is enough. What can I do to feel more like their peer and less like their rival? Am I suddenly going to shoot up 5 inches and down 20 pounds? Probably not. But can I say, okay, I really admire how outgoing they are. I admire their posture. Like, they're not slinking around a party. Is this dress too tight and am I overdressed? No, they're like, I'm here. I love that energy. I like that they're diversifying their life. They've got a podcast, a book, a this, a that. Okay. I'm going to move more towards that state of being and disengage from the bitterness and the jealousy and the comparison. But I want to know what some other topics you guys had. Let's go to Instagram. Here's one. Several of these. How to date out of your league. How to date someone who's out of your league. That's good. How to shoot your shot with someone who's out of your league. I think in a way we kind of just covered this. Analyze what you think makes him out of your league. And look, when we're younger, and not even when we're younger, just through life, one thing that makes someone seem out of our league is money. I mean, isn't it? Right? Like, that's what separates the classes. It's not height. It's not religion. It's not even race. It's money. So, okay. I grew up in an extremely affluent town, Irvine, California. And I mean, my friends, their parents had planes. I had a single mom, right? Like, I was the only child of a hardworking single mom. Talk about differences, you know? And yet I wanted to ingratiate myself with the popular group, you know, not in like a predatory way, but like I've always been, I don't want to say a climber of ladders, a corporate ladder, this kind of ladder, you know, a physical ladder, a social ladder. Not in a predatory, usury kind of way, but in a way that like I like achievement and I like ascension and I like seeing what I can accomplish. And so I really, really studied these people. I studied like, what is the essence about this group of people? We called them the preppy spice in my high school, that makes them popular. You know, okay, it's the money, but there's more than that. It's the attitude that goes with having money. It's this ease. It's this comfortability, knowing you have a safety net, knowing you can get yourself out of trouble, you know? And so I'm like, okay, if I can't give that to myself with money, because we don't really have that much of it, how can I get that same energy? Like, how can I have the practiced ease of the rich if it's not with money? Maybe my safety net is my intelligence. Maybe it's charm. That you can put me in any environment in the world. You can put me in overalls farming potatoes. You can put me in a Marquesa gown at the UN, and I will stand out. I will thrive. I will swim like a little social fish. I can mingle and I can charm anybody. So to me, that was something I could develop for free. That didn't cost money. And ironically, because I did develop that, I gained money and I gained social status. And no one really was like checking bank statement. Nobody fucking cared, right? So my point is, I want you to look at this person who's out of your league and really get to the root of why. Look at what's on the surface. Maybe he's really hot, okay? Well, what does hot mean? Does hot mean he moves through the world in a more confident way? He's charming, he's expectant, the doors will open for him because they always have, because he's so beautiful. It's, here, you guys want it? Okay. When we fixate on someone, especially someone who's out of our league, we do so much of the time, not because we want to date them, but because we want to be them. We want to be them. We talk about this in context of hurt lockers. If you're new here, you've never heard me talk about a hurt locker. A hurt locker is a person in whom we store our hurts. They are an ego projection for us. They're someone we imprint on, like the guy you cannot forget. You met him studying abroad, you had an amazing 2 weeks, and 4 years later, you are still fucking thinking about him. Because it wasn't about him. It was about imprinting on that time in your life. And it's also someone we want to be. Like my hurt lockers, they all have like a very similar, they're very socially integrated, they're popular, they're very humble, they're very hardworking, and they're usually younger, you know? And like, okay, like get curious and not furious about what that potentially means. And therefore, what you want for yourself. When I've imprinted on my hurt lockers, it's when I wasn't very humble. I wasn't very hardworking. I felt like old and bedraggled by life. Or like my Montana hurt locker, Tom, he was like king of Montana. Like he did all the Montana things. Everybody knew him. And I was brand new in town. I didn't know a single person. So I like imprinted on him, not because I wanted to date him, because I wanted to be him. I wanted his sort of like power and integration into society. And once I was able to look that in the face, like the knots kind of loosened. And honestly, I was able to manipulate him. I was able to seduce him. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. Okay, I get this. You have to understand these dynamics in order to harness them and use them to your advantage. So if there's someone who you feel like is out of your league, really get granular and nitty gritty about that. And then ask yourself, more than anything, how can I become him, for lack, I guess, of a better term, without him? What can I do? And I realized this with Tom. What I was going to do was I was going to make friends. I was going to integrate myself into society here. I was going to join clubs and do sports and go to galas and blah, blah, blah. And then then it was like, oh, I want him. I don't need him, but I want him still. And I had more power and there was more balance in that dynamic. So I wasn't like, oh, he's so much better than me. I can't shoot my shot. Like, oh, no. He can try to shoot a shot to me. Because I want him, but I don't need him. It's different. And that becomes magnetic. What does a man love more than a woman who doesn't want him? Hello? They love a chase. They love a chase. So with a guy who's out of your league, I think you have to give him, like we were saying with Pete Davidson, what do you give the woman who has everything? Mediocrity in a way. What do you give a guy who can have any girl? A hunt. A hunt. They might not be used to that. And they, at the end of the day, no matter how popular, no matter how famous a man is, he's still a man. And he is hardwired, his DNA reptilian coding is to hunt. That's why we see like these models, you know, like the chicks Leo DiCaprio would date. Hold on, I gotta fix this mic. Okay. The chicks Leo DiCaprio would date and he'd like dump them and we're like, I'm so sorry, you're dumping like the Victoria's Secret starting lineup? It's because maybe they weren't letting him hunt. And you're probably saying, well, I can't let him hunt me because he kind of doesn't know I exist. Like, if I just play hard to get, I will literally evaporate into the ether. He will not know. I get that for sure. You have to like be flirty and get some hooks in him, but that you can chase me vibe. Again, it goes back to beautifying yourself and making yourself into him, right? As much as you can, so that you are not giving off a vibe of desperation. You're giving off a vibe of, I'm interested, but I don't need you. No, that looks tasty, but you can come to me. Maybe no one's doing that for him. And that vibe, you really can't fake it. Ugh, believe me, I've tried. I am an excellent liar and a fantastic actress. And if I can't fake it, I really don't think anyone can. I've always said I can't play hard to get. I have to be hard to get. I have to legitimately fill my schedule. Otherwise, I'm like, sure, you can come over tonight. When we like someone, when we're interested in someone, we are so fucking obvious. We are so obvious. We need to be dating a gaggle of dudes, a crew, a whole loosey-goosey spectrum of men at all times to keep that vibe of, I would love to see you, but I'm booked up until Tuesday. Sorry, you should have asked a week ago. Because if a guy's like, you won't accept a last minute date, bye. If it's fragile, let it break. If that's what he wants out of a woman, he's not the guy for you. I don't care how cool he is, how many lacrosse championships he's won, how many blue check marks he's got. No. The other thing you should do to get a guy who's out of your league is focus on the thing that is not what he is known for. I've told you before, I have dated athletes, Oscar winners. I have a Fall Out Boy song written about me. I have dated, okay? Politicians. And the reason I have gotten these guys, not because I'm always the most beautiful girl in the room, sometimes, or because I'm the smartest, I might not. It's because I don't focus on the thing that they're famous for. I don't talk to them about music or hockey or the midterm elections. I talk to them about, oh my God, you love Roman history too? I don't know how to ride a jet ski. Who is Tom Waits? I ask them about things that other people are ignoring because, again, this goes back to the Pete Davidson thing. You're seeing through this outer shell that the world is only paying attention to. We talked about this during Evil Week. Humans take things at face value. We do. We don't, by and large, look much beneath the surface, right? Because if we move through life constantly questioning the veracity and the legitimacy of everything we saw, we would be exhausted and terrified and society would completely break down, right? We see someone in uniform with a badge and a gun, we're like, that's a cop. We're not like, well, what's your badge number? Let me cross-reference. We don't do that. We just take things at face value, okay? We're in a hospital bed, a guy walks in with a stethoscope, you're like, that's a doctor. We're not like, are you sure you're not the janitor? Why are you in here? It would be exhausting. And same with seduction and same with dating and personalities, right? People are used to looking at the athlete like he's dumb and he only knows about hockey. Oh, that politician's super conservative. He must hate women. Ooh. If you can scratch beneath the surface a little and look for that side of someone that is yearning to be paid attention to, even if it's simple. Like I said, my hockey ex, the reason I always reference jet skis with him is because he had just bought a jet ski when we started dating and he was like over the moon about it. And I was like, I've never been on a jet ski. They seem really complicated. He's like, oh, I'll tell you how they work. And we talked about jet skis a lot on our first date. And I was like, I have no idea that's how they work. Can you sink them? He's like, yes, I sunk one. I didn't bring up hockey one time, not one time. And he felt so soothed and validated that I was paying attention to something other people like, oh, jet ski, cool. What about your match against the Rangers? It doesn't have to be something huge and psychologically dramatic. It can just be something simple. The little ice creams from the gas station. You know, we are all, as human beings, deeply in love with ourselves. We are all Narcissus gazing at our reflection in the lake, aren't we? And what we want is someone who is equally delighted by all these tiny little inane parts of ourselves. The ice cream at the gas station, the love of a jet ski. We want someone who's like, that is so interesting. It's honestly so simple. It's like embarrassingly simple. It's embarrassingly simple how simple seduction is. If you just know how to do it, and if you can do it to the right degree. So listen, if you want to shoot your shot with the hot guy who's out of your league, pay attention, observe, do your reconnaissance before you make your move. What does he try to bring up in a conversation that no one's paying attention to? What is he like sheepishly like excited about when the teacher compliments him on it? What project is he really working hard on at work that no one's really giving him kudos for? That's where you come in. Think of that as the shadow self, which we know is the secret to seduction. And again, it doesn't have to be something that's super psychological. It's like, hey, Jeff, so I noticed that your mom didn't love your dad, and I figured if I'm mean to you, you'd want to go get coffee with me on Friday. Jet skis, gas station ice cream. This is your level in the beginning, okay? And then that's going to get your hooks in him. And then that's going to take it a level deeper. You know, you're going to be able to access deeper and deeper levels of the shadow self. He's fucking toast. He's fucking toast. I'm telling you, my whole life has been one constant bucket of cold water thrown in my face, looking at really amazing, well-developed, successful men and their shit-ass mediocre girlfriends. It is. I thought this was maybe a phenomenon in like New York where a Meredith is a girl who is fundamentally like opposite of me. I am a flamboyant peacock creature. I love a Marquesa gown, as we've talked about. I like hair and makeup and blah, blah, blah. Like I'm the little sparkly life of the party. Okay, that's who I am. A Meredith. Oh, what sensible flats she wore. And is that a low bun? Okay. Oh, it's all heirloom jewelry, huh? That's cool, I guess. Nice and plain, just a plain crucifix when you probably should be in a statement necklace. It's fine. The Meredith are plain. I mean, listen, I love her, but Kate Middleton is kind of a Meredith. She is. You know, Meghan Markle is not a Meredith. She skews much more to my side. You know, I can't stand her, but like if we're like breaking it down, kinda, right? But Kate Middleton, she's very palatable. She's easygoing. She's not making a lot of waves. A lot of dudes marry Meredith, right? A lot of very successful men marry Meredith. And certainly, once I moved to Montana and I see a lot of hot, tall, strapping dudes with the dumpiest fucking girl. They're in Crocs on a date. They're wearing their fancy Carhartt, their date night Carhartt. Okay. My point is, this is supposed to be a pep talk. My point is, don't sell yourself short. Just because a guy's like hot and tall and successful doesn't mean he's going for the Emily Ratajkowskis. Like, he might want girls who are a little bit more low key. One of them is set to be the next Queen of England. There's a chance, right? So again, like, don't take things at face value. Dig a little deeper into what men want. Look at who he historically dates. Why does he want those kinds of girls? And then go from there and make your plan. My very favorite, though, comment about the Pete Davidson, I just have to read it. It's from Azure. Hi, Azure. She came on a trip to Costa Rica and I adore her. She's like, Pete is hunting your idols one by one, Shallon. And it's true. Kate Beckinsale, Kim Kardashian. I used to love Emily Ratajkowski. I never thought I'd say this, but I am glad Betty White is no longer with us. We cannot risk it. Who's next, though? Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton. We must protect her. Board up Dollywood with her in it. We can't take any chances. I will see you later, Shalligators. Like I said, go ahead and shop our new necklace collection. They're going to sell out, so I want to give you guys the opportunity before I put it out on Insta. Also, if you want to access Evil Week plus all my sexy session tutorials, join the Shallon Entourage and get daily blog posts and exclusive story times from me with the link in the bio. And what's next? Oh, if you're missing your ex and you want to give it a redo or just learn how to manipulate dudes and dive deeper into these topics of shadow self and manipulation and all that, go ahead and download my course, Get Him Back. You're going to save a bunch. We've got a flash sale going on right now at the link in the bio. I'll see you later, Shalligators.